is brought to you in part by Royal Cadillac Buick GMC, Mesquite Valley Growers, Lexus of Tucson, Desert Diamond Casinos, Jag Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Cox Business, Crest Insurance Group, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Good afternoon. Welcome. It's our pregame show live from the mall at the University of Arizona. Today, the Arizona Wildcats come in with a mark of 1-1, coming off a loss at Mississippi State. They'll take on North Dakota State. The Bison come in with a mark of 2-0 on the season. Hello again, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rich Herrera. Like we said, we're live at the mall, University of Arizona. All the tailgates going on. Counting down to an 8 o'clock start. I'm joined as always by the lettermen that have been celebrating their 10th year behind the microphone, getting you ready for Arizona football. The captain, Kelvin Efon, Glenn Howell. Kelvin, how are you today?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Ready to see some Wildcat football.
Glenn.
I'm doing okay. We had a loss of a teammate. I'd like to say shout out to the Reinhardt family, Jeff Reinhardt, who played here from 84 to 87. Better known as Rhino or Big Cat. Great guy, lovable dude, he just passed away last night. And I want to say my condolences to his family and especially his daughter. I know that they had a close relationship. And also his twin brother who came in with him, Jerome. If you're listening, I know Jerome's in Tucson. My condolences to them and to the Reinhardt family.
And, you know, today is going to be a very special day at the University of Arizona. Honorary team captain will be the late Julius Holt. And, guys, you both came on and talked about Julius. Lamont Hunley, who's part of our broadcast crew as well, one of our Arizona insiders, talks about him quite a bit and the impact that he made, not only at the University of Arizona, the football program, but throughout the community of Tucson.
Yes, he had Big Holt did a lot of stuff for youth football here. A lot of stuff for everybody, and he's the one that pushed me back to get my degree. He was helping me with him and Dr. Hopkins. They really were integral part of me coming back and finishing my degree, which I did, and I was really happy to do that.
Yeah, no, Julius was a great man in the community. Was a guy that I met as a young freshman coming into town, and just hospitable. Just always just felt like a big brother. So just really miss him, and praying for his family. His daughter over playing softball at Howard University. So just definitely praying for him.
It is part of that fraternity that you guys have, right?
Yes.
Of all the players that have been past and present, and the one thing that I think is remarkable when you talk about the gentleman that you're talking about, how it's intergenerational, whether you played for Larry Smith, you played for Coach Tomey, you played for Makovic, Stoops, Rich Rod, Sumlin, and now these young men that will play for Jed Fish, they're all part of that fraternity, and it goes all the way across generations.
Yes, it does. And that's what it's supposed to be at a university when you play in, because the first thing they sell you on is family.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that they sell you on. So if we don't stand up to that, that's just not good. So everybody's family, Rhino and those guys. And Big Hope, they're still family with us, and we still remember them.
Absolutely. We're counting down to the 8 o'clock kick tonight. North Dakota State in town to take on the University of Arizona. Before we get there, let's go back to the last ball game that we had. Mississippi State came in here and won 39-17, but, fellas, it was a winnable game. It was a one-possession game going into the fourth quarter. Let's hear what Jed Fish had to say about that ball game. This is Cut 18, the aftermath of the game for the Arizona Wildcats, and what the takeaways were versus Mississippi State.
I saw a lot of opportunity there. And what
got about a minute and 20 seconds.
There's a lot of good out on that film. And, you're sitting there, and there's parts of the game that you feel like go one way or the other, right? If we could get one thing happen. Really the second drive of the game. We hit the screen pass down to the 28-yard line, but they say Jaden Butt hit the ground before the ball left his hands. So instead of it being 1st and 10 on the +28, it's 2nd and 19. And then the interception happens on the 10-second scramble. And then it's 15-10, and we're driving again, and we wind up having a penalty. and then it's 18-10, and we're going to go in to score again to kick a field goal at the end of the half, and we make a mental error and go backwards and take a sack rather than just throw it away. So, there's a lot of learning on the film. I thought our defense got better as the game went on. It was really fun to see our defense compete every snap. And when it was 25-10 and then Jackson Turner ripped that ball out, the coolest picture I saw was you had 10 guys following Jackson, running down that sideline, taking him really. It was a swarm of blue. And I think that's what Desert Swarm defense used to be.
10 seconds.
Be around the ball at once. And when we had 10 around the ball, I said to Jackson, the one common trait of a great leader is you have a lot of followers. And it was fun to see him lead that defense down there.
That's Jed Fish talking about some of the takeaways for the game against Mississippi State. Guys, again, we talked about it during the week on 1290. These are fixable problems. These are fixable issues. We'll start with the captain, Kelvin. A lot of things that you saw playing behind the chains, those are fixable things that you can look at to improve. And again, this game against North Dakota State.
Yeah, it was a lot of great things that I saw in the game. The guys showed that they can compete and that they had an opportunity to beat a Mississippi State. But again, you can't have those self-inflicting wounds. You can't have the little mistakes of the missed assignments, the quarterback sacks, the quarterback pressures. You got to try to keep your quarterback as clean as possible so he can be able to become cool and collected and make the play. So there's a lot of good tape that I feel like the team is able to get from this game, because they can go back and look where there was opportunities for those guys to be able to be in a better position to win.
Yeah, and I watched the game the other night again, and it was just like, wow, I didn't really realize until you watch it again how close we were to winning that game. I mean, it's just like we had to understand that we can't make mistakes. We can't throw picks when we're trying to drive, and we just can't do that. Live to another down. That's what I think we should also. Jaden needs to think about. That's got to be his motto: live for another down, because sometimes he tries to make a play and then he might have a turnover. So we got to live to another down. If we can do that and gather up, like they say, next play, let's do it.
All right, we're going to get into all of that. In fact, let's take our first look at the game. It's brought to you by the Window Depot.
It's time to take our first look at today's game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. Here is Rich Herrera.
All right, fellas, North Dakota State comes in, the biggest, baddest FCS team in college football. 9 times they've won a national championship in recent memory. They are 6-0 against their last FBS school. I want to talk about a team that is walking around with some swagger as they walk around in Tucson. I was out last night on University. I saw nothing but green and gold-clad fans. I was out there today having lunch at Illegal Pete's before we came over here. There's a ton of North Dakota State fans. They brought 10,000 fans to the desert for North Dakota State to come see their team. And they're not coming in here just to collect a paycheck and go home. They're coming in here to walk away with a trophy, which is a Pac-12 win. This is the first time North Dakota State's ever played a Pac-12 team. Here's Jed Fish, Cut 31, talking about NDSU, what they're able to accomplish, and how many guys they send on to the next level.
Really good at it. They've been really good at it. They've got 15 players in the NFL currently. The starting receivers of the Packers last year, the second-round pick. The starting receiver was from North Dakota State, obviously Carson Wentz, North Dakota State.
10 seconds.
They're going to challenge you to be gap sound and to recognize that it's going to be the exact opposite of what we just defended last week.
That's Jed Fish talking about the talent that we're going to see from the folks at North Dakota State University. Hey, they can flat out play, guys. They can flat out play.
Yeah, they can ball. I think they've proven they're a proven winner. They have done it. They've come into Division I, Big 5 conferences and coming in and taking wins. They have no problem or no intimidation factor of coming in here, and I don't think they're going to be intimidated. Like I said the other day, I think they're a bunch of peacocks coming here, spreading their feathers and saying, "I'm here, let us go."
I think, again, this is their game of the year. This is that one Division I game where they can recruit players to their school to say, hey, every year we're going to get the type of competition so you can show the scouts and you can show the people what North Dakota State is all about. This is the one that they circled on their calendar, and they're here to represent their team. So for sure it's going to be a battle.
And this is one where the guys that are playing on this team have never taken on an FBS school. 6 years is the last time they played. But this is part of their lore, their mystique, their tradition of beating FBS schools, Power 5 schools, going out there and taking it to it. So for these guys that are coming in with North Dakota State University playing today, they want to add to that legacy of what Bison football is all about.
Absolutely. They want to continue the legacy. And a lot of these guys, they've all won. There's like these fifth-year seniors that they have on there that they've won all their whole career. So they don't know what losing is about. They don't understand what that is. And I don't expect them to panic if they get behind. I don't expect them to throw in the towel. So it's going to be a battle for 60 minutes.
When you look at some of the things that we need to look at in the game there, you mentioned it. First and foremost, the Cats need to make sure they're efficient on offense. One of the things we saw last week was Jaden DeLore making things happen with his feet, extending plays. Jed Fish talked about this, the fact that these two have only played 2 games together. Jed coaching Jaden has only happened for 2 games. Here's Coach Fish talking on the two of them trying to figure things out together, working together. This is Cut 8.
Jaden and I have been together all of 2 games, and as we're continuing to learn one another, we had many of conversations the week before as well. You know, there's going to be times between every series that I'm going to talk to Jaden about what he likes, what he doesn't like, where he's comfortable. The defense that Mississippi State presents is an interesting challenge because of all the cloud coverages that they present and how they kind of, for lack of a better term, run an umbrella-like defense. So
30 seconds.
Based upon how they cloud the corners. So because of that, we had to talk about what intermediate routes we felt most comfortable with and at each possession, and then talk about, there's times that you get frustrated. I mean, it's 25-17, you're driving down, you have a 65-yard drive, and you're on the 30-yard line going in, and ball gets tipped up in the air and picked.
10.
I'm back on, now it's 32-17. Or how do you handle, 3 possessions in a row where we didn't get point or we got a field goal only. So we just, are always going
to. That's Jed Fish talking about getting to know Jaden DeLore getting to know him. But, Kelvin, more than anything else, I think it's just the trust factor between the two that Jaden is going to work on and has been working on. Hey, listen, you know what? I can extend, but there's a zero barrier. Once I get past there, something good might happen. More than likely, something bad's going to happen. We throw the ball away to live another day.
Yeah, and that's that trust factor that you have to have between the offensive coordinator. He just Fish happened to be the head coach, but it's that trust factor usually the quarterback has with the head coach. You have to be comfortable with each other and understanding what each other is trying to do, and they're still trying to figure that out on the sideline. So that's why you see them doing a lot of talking, because you want to understand and you want to feel like that you're calling plays to help your player be successful.
Yeah, and I looked at the San Diego State game, and I looked at the Mississippi State game. And on the offensive side of the ball, it just seems like they weren't in rhythm. How DeLore was getting the plays, running the plays. It's just that they were off keel. And the San Diego State game, everything was happening. They were, getting to the outlet, getting out there, and then they were running the run plays, and then they were running. We ran 8 pass plays in a row. Mm-hmm. We don't usually do that. Right. So it was out of rhythm.
And you know what I thought? I thought after that first drive and scored the touchdown, I thought that the guys may have, you just won at San Diego State. Sometimes you think it's just going to happen. And I think that they just needed to keep competing and understanding that you have to play the game. You can't just think that it's just going to keep flowing and it's just going to work for you. You got to actually execute.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about as we get closer and closer to the 8 o'clock kick. One of the other things that Jed talked about this week was the definite defensive changes that we've seen. The defense last year had a hard time getting turnovers. This time they've got a lot of turnovers early on, and part of it is that tempo that they're taking and being aggressive going after the other team. Here's Jed talking about the defense getting those takeaways. This is cut 21.
And we want to keep at this, at this tempo. We want to be able to get 2 to 3 takeaways a game. And that's what Coach Nansen emphasizes. That's what he talks about constantly: swarm the ball, tackle, and take the ball away. I think that it showed up last week. We got to be cleaner. There are 2 of those interceptions we didn't have to make. One's a fluke ball that gets tipped, but the other 2, Jaden's too good of an athlete not to run.
10 seconds.
Or just know when to say when. And if we could be a +2 in the turnover margin rather than even, that'll be the key.
You mentioned Jackson Turner.
He's absolutely right.
So when we're looking at these things and you look at the tempo, defense take it to it, offense take it to it, I think the up-tempo really benefits the Cats.
Yeah, I think it does. It depends on what the situation is and what kind of team you're running against. Because, like, against San Diego State, we were moving the ball real easily. Against Mississippi State, we're having some issues running the ball. So that up-tempo is not always that good.
Right.
So they got to slow it down, get back into the huddle, do some
because
stuff.
You put extra pressure on the defense.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to really look at the situation. This game, I think we should be able to run the ball against these guys. If we can't run the ball, it's going to be a different kind of tempo. So I really think that we have to understand what the game plan is and then really execute that doggone game plan. Because if you look at this on paper, they give up a lot on the run. So we need to be able to understand that we can run the ball.
And what I'll say is this: defensively, I feel like more than anything, Rich, we need to get some 3 and outs. We need to get off the field. I love the turnovers, but the turnovers sometimes are rare. Getting off the field in 3 downs is more realistic. Get tackles, get these guys down. Let's get these guys behind the sticks, and let's make them punt and play the field position game.
Well, the other part of that is because this team is going to run the football, and they're going to run the football down your throat, down the A gap. Anytime you get a stop, anytime you get them to punt, you take the ball out of the hand because their goal are 8-minute drives.
Yeah.
Their goal is to eat up the clock and keep Jaden DeLauro off the field.
Yeah.
So anytime you're able to get them to turn over the ball on downs, that's a small victory for the Arizona Wildcats that'll add up to something bigger as we get closer and closer towards the game. So we'll talk about that coming up here on the program as well. And that's going to take a look at the first look of the game brought to you by Window Depot.
That's our first look at the game, brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, guys, we've got a lot more coming up here on the pregame show as we get you ready. The Meridian Wealth Management pregame shows. We're counting down to the late 8 o'clock kick. Second time in a row we've had an 8 o'clock kick. This time it's North Dakota State in town. The game will be on Fox Sports 1. And, of course, the voice of the Wildcats, Brian Jeffries, will have the call right here on 1290. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown, tell you what's coming up here on our pregame show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, coming up on the Right Way Rundown, in Howell's Huddle, who do we have coming up?
We got Vance Johnson, one of the 3 amigos. A great running back here, great long jumper, NCAA champion long jumper, and a Pan American gold medalist. A lot of people don't realize that how good of an athlete that Vance was. Vance, he played running back here and went to the NFL, and he'll tell us a story about how when he went to the NFL as a running, he went into the combine as a running back and then came out as a wide receiver.
So he's going to come up. He'll be joining us here in just a few moments. Also coming up in the program, who do we have in our players-only meeting?
We have offensive tackle Brian Denton. Great player, offensive lineman, one of the original real big guys to come step on campus.
And then a little bit later in the captain's corner,
we have Derek Hall, former team captain, walk-on, just great overall guy. Was in the program as a coach, just program guy.
Okay, all that coming up here on our pregame show. We're counting down to the 8 o'clock kick. Arizona hosting North Dakota State. It's game 3 of the 2022 football season. Coming up, Vance Johnson will go in the huddle with Glenn Howell. That's next here on 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Man. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step to hand off. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out, the locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's hot! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down. That was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
tied.
A huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
Wildcats Radio 1290. Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, we continue with you, counting down to the 8 p.m. kick. Arizona taking on North Dakota State University. Coming up here at Arizona Stadium. All right, time now for In the Huddle with Hal. Glenn Howell sits down with a special guest this week, Vance Johnson, talking Arizona Wildcat football.
Let's go in the huddle with Arizona letterman Glenn Howell. In the huddle with Howell. He's driven by Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Fiat. Driven by you. Here is Glenn Howell.
All right, welcome to the Howell's Huddle today, fans. We got a great guest for you today. And, you know, in the Howell's Huddle, what we do is we bring in former players and we talk about what they're doing now and, you know, talk about their careers and what they're doing, and also give them a little X's and O's. We talk a little X's and O's today. Who we have today, man, I'm excited about having my ex-teammate. I played with Vance Johnson in 1983 and 84. I came here as a junior college transfer. And, man, I told Vance, I was telling him, I said, we were going to have to, have another segment just because we're going to talk about his resume. You know, this guy's from Troy High School player, came over to University of Arizona. He was a first-team All-Pac-10 running back. He had 2,885 yards from line of scrimmage, 104 receptions, 31 TDs. He had 62 kickoff returns for 1,369 yards. He also, while he was playing football, he was at the University of Arizona. He was an NCAA long jump champion. And then he went on to get a gold medal at the Junior Pan Olympic Games. And then he went on to his NFL career. At that time, he ran the fastest 40 at 4.18. And he beat Jerry Rice on ran his 40. And his man says, I could do something better. Man, he was a second-round pick, played in 3 Super Bowls. And he was also part of the 3 Amigos with Ricky Natal and Mark Jackson, and they were receiving balls from the all-time great, one of the all-time greats, John Elway. Vance Johnson, welcome to the show. We're happy that you're back here. Bear down. What's going on? How you doing, Vance?
Brother, I'm doing fantastic, and it's great listening to my former teammate's voice. So I really appreciate that, man, because I miss you.
I miss you too, my brother. Hey, man, tell us what you're doing right now. What are you doing now, Vance?
What I'm doing now is I just moved back here in 2022 to Tucson, Arizona, where I grew up at, and I'm the recovery ambassador at America's Rehab campuses here in Tucson, where I'm celebrating actually this month my 9 years in recovery myself, and that's the very promise I made God, because I wanted to go back to the very place that I grew up at so I can offer the hope and help to people that are struggling out there with loved ones needing to get into treatment. So I'm back home in Tucson.
That is awesome, Vance. I know, you know, when I played with Vance, man, I just knew that he was a good person. He was a good guy. And I'm just happy to see that what you're doing right now, dude. You're giving the payback, man. That's what it's all about. You know,
I really appreciate that. And real quick, don't mean to cut you off. But
go ahead.
I know that just because we leave the football field doesn't mean we have to leave a play field. This is my playing field for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I really am. I'm proud of you of what you're doing, man. You're coming back and you're giving back to and using your experiences to help other people. That's what it's all about, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what?
Just like we did when we were playing football together. We had to help each other out.
Exactly. You know what I was thinking is that, you know, what was it like doing your transition from running back at Arizona to a wide receiver in the National Football League?
That's a really good question. And for those young athletes that might be listening to this interview, I want you to pay close attention to this. So because I was so small playing running back, even though I was really good, they told me at the scouting combine up there in Phoenix, Arizona, that, young man, you're way too small to play running back in the NFL. You might want to try out for the wide receiver position. And I ended up meeting a gentleman that ended up playing 17 years in the NFL, but him and I were the same age, Randall Cunningham, quarterback. And so he told me, Vance, while you're up here, what you need to do, because you obviously might be able to get drafted as a wide receiver, I want you to follow Jerry Rice around, and I'm going to throw you the football, and don't drop the pass. And then that way the NFL is going to compare you to Jerry Rice when it comes time for the draft. And so I did exactly what my quarterback told me to do. And so I ran the routes, and I caught every pass. And then when it was time to run the 40 meters, he said, now you need to get up there and kick his butt in the 40 meters and win. Because if you know he's going to get drafted in the first round, maybe you'll get drafted higher than the 9th round. And I ended up getting drafted second pick in the second round after I beat Jerry Rice by running that 4.18 in the 40 meters.
Wow, that's a great story, man. That's an incredible story, man. And dude, when was the moment that you knew when you were going and you're playing, you're in training camp, when you said, man, I can play in the National Football League?
You know, that's a really good question. And ever since I was a kid, for you listeners, I always had dreams and goals to hopefully be famous one day and play in the NFL, even though I was just that little bitty athlete. And I just promised God, and I asked God, rather, if I can be in the NFL. So you just have to have faith that the goals that you want to be able to do in your life, that you'll be able to get there. But then that means you don't just have faith, but you got to be following that faith that you said you're going to get to. And that's what I had to do since I was a child. I had to just listen to what my father told me to do, like going to bed at a certain time at night, not being able to come into my bedroom until I was actually running at least 20 to 40 minutes before I could even come inside the house. I had to get off the telephone at a certain time. So I just really knew growing up as a kid that if I just did what I was supposed to do by listening to my coaches and my father and my mother tell me what to do, then there's a chance that I was going to be successful at sports, even though I didn't know for sure whether I was going to end up there. But it's what you do behind the scenes that's going to get you to where your goal is.
Absolutely, man. I mean, people, you know, I say it, you know, they think, oh, you're just an old dude, man. It takes discipline. It takes sacrifice. It takes all those things to get to where you want. It's not going to just happen for you. And you got to put in the grind, man. And that's the thing that, you know, I mean, when you were in training camp, now you're playing a different position. I know you played a little bit of slot at U of A. You got out in the backfield and everything. But how was it when you got into camp and you're like, man, I'm going against all these big D. And back then they had some big D. They had some man DVs back then when you were playing.
Yes, they did.
And how much were you weighing at that time?
You just reminded me of why I had to get away from those guys. That's why I was so fast. I actually only weighed, and guess what? I weighed in my 160s, and I only weighed 174 pounds even when I was drafted into the NFL. So it was really tough playing against those big old defensive backs, but I knew that I just had to really practice and do exactly what my coach told me to do, what my quarterback told me to do, so that I could be successful at it. And when me playing with fear, that actually made me good because my fear made me make sure that I would keep my eyes open so that I could make sure I made the right play.
Well, I tell you what, watching your career, man, when I was watching you play with Denver Broncos, you had no fear, brother, because you were catching balls over the middle like it was like just like another day at the office, man. I mean, see it, and then your deep balls were just unbelievable. And, you know, it's really amazing how people will say, you know, you have to be really big and everything. And back then, they could take your head off. They could take your head off. There was no hesitation. Today, I think it's a little soft, but, you know, you can take your head off. But back then, you were catching balls over the middle like it was nothing, man.
Well, you know what's funny? You remember Lester Hayes?
Yes.
Well, guess what? So I was a uniform inspector at the Raiders Stadium actually for a couple years, and Lester Hayes saw me, and he ran up to me and said, you know what, Vance Johnson, I need to apologize to you because when you were in the NFL and you were just that rookie in the NFL, I was so pissed off at you that I would grab you whenever the ball was on the other side of the field, and I would throw you on the ground, and I would try to poke your eyes out because I knew that you were so quick and fast that you were going to catch the ball no matter where you went out there on the field. So I need to say I'm sorry. And so you hit the nail on the head right there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great story, man. I love Lester. He was unbelievable. You know, because I'm a Raider fan.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's what they called him.
Yeah, because I was a Raider fan, man. I was like, and then when I went into training camp with the Raiders, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here in the Raiders, and it's like, it's unbelievable. He was a great player, and I think he was a good guy too. I think he really was a good guy. What would you tell the receivers now? What would you say to the current receivers that we have at Arizona right now?
I would tell receivers to take a look at those guys that are older than you that have been playing that position for a long time so that you can copy them and do the same thing that they're doing. And don't look at them like, you know what, they're better than me, they're older than me, and so I'm not going to be able to. No, actually, you need to keep your eye on them and run the same routes they run and ask them what I need to do to be a better wide receiver. And so I would encourage those young wide receivers, don't just catch the ball when you're standing in front of the quarterback throwing it to you, but literally turn your back from the quarterback and tell him, after the ball's in the air, tell me to turn around so I can catch it. And that's going to help you with your peripheral, so that way when you start competing out there on the field, your eyes don't go wide open, so a defensive back is going to turn around and knock that ball down. but literally you'll see the ball when it gets by his head, and all you got to do is reach your hand out there and snatch it.
Yeah, and those are drills. I think that, I remember doing those kind of drills when I was playing in Pop, not playing Pop Warner, but playing flag football because I was too big to play Pop Warner. So
You're a big guy.
Yeah, I was a big dude, so I couldn't. And I remember those drills, doing those drills when I was a little kid, and those are still good to this day.
To this day.
And what was your biggest thing that you did to help you get off the line of scrimmage, because the guys were just putting their hands on you in the National Football League? How were you be able to do that? Because you were always open.
Well, practice. Because those guys will do anything they can to try to stop you from getting down the field. And a quarterback only has so many steps that he has to drop back, and then he has to throw that ball. So you need to prepare when you first get up there and start thinking inside of your mind, am I going to go to the left or to the right? How am I going to get around this defensive back? And I want to share something else with you, man. In the huddle, and especially in the second half of the game, John Elway, and this is a part of the reason why I would catch my balls and get even my hands dislocated. John Elway would say, and I won't tell you which two of those players ended up getting cut, but he would call the play, and he'd say, and you better catch this so-and-so ball, because if you don't, you so-and-so going to get cut. Ready? Break.
Wow.
We all go out there.
Wow.
And guess who was the only one who didn't drop that pass?
Yeah, it was you. That's awesome, man. That's a great story. I mean,
and two of my teammates got cut that year that they dropped the pass that Elway threw to them.
Really? Wow.
In fact, I don't know if you knew this, but that quarterback was so powerful with the Denver Broncos, he was the one that got Dan Reeves, the head coach of the Denver Broncos, fired because John Elway wanted to throw the ball more, but Dan Reeves wanted to run the ball more. Thanks for letting me be transparent on here with you. You're my teammate, so I can be honest.
Yeah.
I forgot. People are listening. Oh, no.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, but look at, and then I heard, I don't know if this is a rumor, but I heard this rumor that John Elway was asked if he had one pass to throw and the game was on the line, who he'd throw it to. He said Vance Johnson.
He did. In fact, you know what, brother? When I got here after 33 years, getting back this year, I went to my mother and father's house, and I saw an Elway jersey. And when I picked it up, I looked at it, and guess what it said on there? He wrote, to my favorite wide receiver, Vance Johnson, from John Elway. It's been here since I played in the NFL back in the 80s and 90s, all the way at my parents' house. I saw it for the first time. Elway was really a good quarterback.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome,
man. But off the field, just like Tom Brady and myself, we struggle with our addictions and different things that we struggle with relationships. So people don't think that just because you get famous and you become that pro athlete that you're going to have an identity. And an identity is actually received, not achieved. And I'm a man of God, so it's all about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I had to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, Vance. Vance, we want to thank you for coming on today on the Howls Huddle, and I appreciate you, my brother. And I'm praying for you to have the best, at best of luck to you, and you continue on your journey of helping other people, and that's just gonna make you a stronger man. And I appreciate you coming on today. And bear down, my brother.
Brother, I appreciate this opportunity, and it was absolutely amazing. And I'm glad that we were teammates. And now I play for Team Jesus, because the NFL stands for not for long. But when you play for Team Jesus, it stands for now for life. So thanks again, my brother.
Right on, man. That's Vance Johnson, former University of Arizona running back. We really appreciate and thank him for coming on today.
That's In the Huddle with Howell. He's driven by Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Fiat. Driven by you on Wildcats Radio 1290. Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290. Cumulus Media Station. This is the one and only home of the Arizona Wildcats. Remember, 1290 brings you all the action of Arizona football every Saturday, both home and away. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show, now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments for the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
We continue with you from the University of Arizona campus. The mall tailgaters are out. Brother John came by. He's bringing us some barbecue, fellas. I forgot to share with you last week.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you notice that?
I saw how you walked off with a plate.
Yeah, I walked off with all 4 plates.
He walked off with a plate. He had a fork.
And I was like, oh, I didn't.
And the fork came back with half a fork.
I had to go borrow the fork from someone across the way, so I promise I'll share with you this week. But we have a lot to get to as we count down to the 8 o'clock start. The Cats taking on North Dakota State University. I'm very impressed with the way North Dakota State's traveled, fellas. There was about 10,000 folks that have come in from North Dakota State. They had a big party over at Whiskey Roads on Thursday. They were up and down University last night. They're up and down supporting everybody on University this week. There's some good football fans that are rolling in here this week.
Oh, yeah, it's good to see the visiting team is traveling, so many people. They're here. They're coming to check it out. And, we even got some Tennessee fans over here. Charlie Bass and Patty Bass. They're big Tennessee. But they got the Arizona stuff on today.
See, good. All right.
Yeah,
that's good. I like that. All right. Hey, let's take a look at what's going on today with our offensive spotlight brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Here is the Wildcats offensive scouting report for today's game.
He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona.
The offensive scouting report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, fellas, let's take a look at the offensive spotlight. I guess the biggest thing is for Arizona. Arizona's going to have to take a look at what happens when they have the ball. Jaden DeLora drops back to pass Kelvin. We saw it. He extends plays with his feet. He's excited. He makes things happen with his feet. But there's times where, according to Jed and everybody else who watched the game, you have to know when to say when. Here's Jed Fish talking about Jaden DeLora and extending plays with his feet.
No, I mean, he didn't run at all. He didn't scramble at all. So there would have been about 3 or 4 opportunities, I think, that if he just, what happens is he scrambles around so often and makes plays that all of a sudden it's like there's some times that it's okay to know when to say when. And also know when to use your feet to your advantage. I mean, the end of the half is a great example of know when to say when. Just throw it away. I mean, you've got a shot at the end zone. You've got a shot to 2 guys in the flat. You got 9 seconds and a timeout. You just got to know when to say when.
10 seconds.
Take a sack. There was a couple third downs and that we could have scrambled forward, and we didn't. And we talked about it, and we'll get better there.
Yeah, I think that there was opportunities to definitely run the ball or throw the ball away. I think that's going to be important for him as far as the scheming of the other team's game planning against them. Because right now, if I'm a team, I'm just going to drop everybody back and wait for him to throw the ball. Because if you go back and look at his stats from last year, he's first in yards and he's first in touchdowns. He wants to throw the ball more so than run. So a lot of times teams just like to pressure the guy to see if he could throw it up and get an interception. He's going to have to run a few of those and get down, do the baseball slide, or get out of bounds just to get that threat on the defense to open up some more opportunities downfield.
And the best running quarterbacks are the ones that know the down and distance. They know the down and distance. They know the situation. They evaluate what's going on. If it's 3rd and 3 and they can get there, they're looking for that. They got to understand the down and distance and understand that when they can run, and then also they got to understand how to get down, get out of bounds. Don't try to get the extra, if you're going to get hurt. Those are the kind of things that we can't afford to have Jaden DeLora do. So I think he could have ran a few more times, but
well,
you know
okay,
what?
When you mean ran, we mean run past the line of scrimmage, advance the ball, because he didn't do that.
No, he could have ran for first downs. He could have ran for a couple more than first downs. So it's just like you have to be able to understand the down and distance and what's going on.
And you have to have that threat these days. I mean, the run, I was just talking to Brian, the run, when the spread offense don't prepare guys for the NFL, especially linemen or whatnot, but it does make the linebackers and the DBs have to look into the backfield and have to watch what the quarterback is doing, which opens up your receivers and opens up the passing game a little bit. So we're going to have that option a little bit where you're doing it. They brought Jordan in, and he did one quarterback run, but that's not the same as your starting quarterback, giving that little look.
Because people here in Tucson have been used to Khalil Tate, who would take off, run, and advance the ball and pick up a first down.
Yeah, I mean, even before that, every quarterback we've ever had.
Before that.
That's where I was going to go next. Yeah.
Except for Nick Foles.
Yeah. But most of the guys will take off and just show that toughness and get those first downs. And, it rallies your troops. It really, when your teammates see the quarterback run out there and get a big first down, it just pumps everybody up. It makes your offensive lineman block better for you. It makes your running backs want to run harder. It's just something about it when you know your quarterback is locked in to making trying to do everything it takes to win.
And I made this point. For those of us here in Tucson, we see him coming in as a transfer. Okay, came in the portal. Look what he did up at Washington State. But the one thing is we didn't follow him for the entire year. He was the freshman offensive player of the year. Right. But he didn't break camp as a starting quarterback at Washington State. He won that job. he is a relative youngster as far as quarterbacks go, but we don't have that history with him. So we just say, transfer portal? Oh, he must be a completely complete quarterback who's mature and done everything. He still has a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, this is third game. Let's let him get into the groove. And also we got to look at what this is Jed's third game too this year too with the new quarterback. Yeah. New quarterback. So Jed's got to get the feel of what kind of plays make him comfortable. And I wouldn't be surprised he sits down with them and says, "What are your favorite plays that you feel comfortable me calling? What are the plays that you really like?" Our coaches used to do that. Axman used to ask Alfred, "What are your favorite plays? What are your, what's your favorite plays? What do you feel comfortable with?" So if you get into the groove so they can get into a rhythm, and that's what they need to do.
Well, I asked Jed, what's your reaction to the sideline? Because we don't get a chance to see that. You guys do, standing at the sideline. What's your reaction when Jaden takes off running? Here's Jed Fish, cut 16.
Sometimes it's a no, yes, and sometimes it's a yes, no, and, it's everything in between, right? You're seeing there's times that he goes out there and scrambles, and we're backed up on 3rd and 10 on the 6-yard line, and he's in the middle of the end zone, and they bring the corner cat, and he spins around and makes a play and converts a 16-yard gain. So, you live with those plays because of the fact that he's so gifted as an athlete. It's our job to continue to help him play within the parameters of the system and help him understand, there's times you don't have to do that. There's times you can just hit a guy in rhythm. You don't have to worry about skipping the first or second.
10 seconds.
Times that you can use your legs to your advantage. You're a 200-pound guy that's fast, so take advantage of that as well.
And I think you go back and look at that Washington State offense, it's going to take him a second to switch from that offense to this offense. This is a pro-style offense that Fish is trying to run here. That's going to take a second to get used to stepping up in the pot and not extending plays and making things happen. And then the other thing I want to say is that the receivers are all new too. So you're learning to trust from the quarterback to the receivers, from your tackles. Trusting that your tackles are going to hold the guys up and give you enough time to actually step up and make a pass. So there's a lot of trust that has to be built, not only between the coach and the offensive coordinator and the quarterback, but the quarterback and his rest of his guys on his team that he's playing with.
And the difference in Washington State, they were dinking and dunking. They were doing that a lot. So this one, you have routes that have to develop. Mm-hmm. So you have to develop, get the pocket, feel the pocket, step into your passing lane, and get rid of the ball. You sometimes have to wait for a guy to come open. So those are the kind of things that you have other routes that are setting up other guys. So you have to understand that it takes a little time. And we got to get going here, but it takes a little time.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. You have a freshman in McMillan, receiver,
Yep.
that's still learning. Like you said, we right there on the sideline, and we're seeing, some of the growing pains there. But the talent is 100% there. And then you talk about Cowing. It looked like that him and
Singer?
Delora.
Delora, yeah.
Yes, it looked like they had a connection just immediately in that first game. But the second game showed you that it takes a little bit longer. Let's not crown them, and let's not, because then you'll get so disappointed the next game.
The prize.
Exactly.
All right, there you go. Hey, that's our offensive scouting report for today, brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet.
That's the Wildcats Offensive Scouting Report. The Offensive Scouting Report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet, get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, sports fans, we're counting down to the 8 o'clock kick. Arizona taking on the North Dakota State Bison. It'll be a big crowd here at Arizona Stadium. We'll continue with you as we get you ready for football here on 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you in part by Royal Cadillac Buick GMC. Mesquite Valley.
No, we're good. We're about right on time.
Okay, perfect.
Jag Furrier Tire and Auto Care. The Polston.
All right, cool.
Williams, Southern Arizona. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Cox Business. Crest Insurance Group.
And by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
What's the biggest thing you look for when buying a vehicle? If it's the best selection and deals, we've got it all at Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Fiat. Over 100 pre-owned vehicles in stock. Inventory mas grande means prices mas better. Save yourself the time and hassle. Shop us first. We offer upfront competitive pricing. And if you are in need of some extra cash, we buy vehicles too. Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Fiat. 22nd at Columbus. Online at TucsonDodge.com. Driven by you.
On approved credit, all prices are plus tax, title, license fees, and $4.99 dealer doc fee.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The heat is here, and so are the scorpions, ants, roaches, and spiders. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
At First Chiropractic, most auto and on-the-job insurance pays 100% of the cost of care, and they are now preferred providers of our veterans with Tri-West Health Insurance. If you need chiropractic care, call First Chiropractic, the most trusted name in chiropractic care, serving Tucson since 1986.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
As a homeowner, you've probably seen some pretty bad plumbing problems.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
We've seen them all.
All of them?
Ram's Plumbing kept entire buildings flowing. Businesses since 1983.
Wow, so whatever happens to my house...
We've seen it before, and we have the solution. Locally owned and operated, Ram Plumbing is Tucson's most trusted plumber. Our team of licensed professionals...
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, WildcatsRadio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Coloco. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Coloco, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Coloco, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Coloco, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the 3, blocked again by Coloco. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun.
More of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you in part by Royal Kia, First Chiropractic, PGA Tour Superstores, Ram Plumbing, Horn Pest Control, Goodfellas AC, The Window Depot, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Nova Home Loans, The Window Depot.
And by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
We continue with you from Arizona Stadium. Bear down, how you guys doing? All right, there you go. I got Arizona Wildcat fans walking in carrying a cooler full of something. They didn't offer us anything, though, Kelvin.
They had some nice beverages in there.
They had some nice beverages in there, but we have lots of folks out here tailgating. There's a huge contingent behind us of North Dakota State fans. I have a feeling this is going to be a loud stadium tonight. They have 10,000 fans that they're expecting. Arizona's expecting a big crew as well, so there should be some energy in the stadium tonight, guys.
Oh yeah, no, there should be some energy when you're dealing with teams like this. I mean, it's kind of cult-like because they win all of those championships, so they have real faith. It's all about their town. Kind of remind me of Tucson when you think about it, because it's all about their football team. It's all about what their city is all about. So yeah, no, they travel and they to get away from that coldness to come down and try to steal some of our Rays down here in Tucson. So it's a good deal for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show tonight. I think it's going to be a good game tonight. I think it really is going to be a battle. Guys,
that's probably the best way to describe it. It's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a battle, and it's going to be who has the stronger will. That's what it's going to be. Because I think it's going to be an up and down battle, and if whoever's going to be able to survive the bad times and get through them and be able to come out a winner.
Because North Dakota State likes it ugly.
Yep.
They want it to be a fight. They want it to make you think that it's just muck it up, and then, as Brian said, throw it over the top of you and try to make a big play there. So, yeah, you're going to have to stay focused and really lock in and make sure that you execute your game plan and execute your defenses, because these guys are going to really try to make it a fist fight.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at the Pac-12 scoreboard and see what's going on around the conference on a Saturday afternoon.
Here is today's Pac-12 scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery. Here is Rich Herrera on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, here's what's going on around the Pac-12. Here's scores and games in progress right now. They are playing in the third quarter. Washington State, no problem. Colorado State playing up at Wazoo, 31-0. The Cougs have an opportunity to pick up yet another victory. Coming off that impressive win against Wisconsin last week, they're winning 31-0 over Colorado State right now. That ball game again in the third quarter. Finals from earlier today, South Alabama gave the UCLA Bruins all they could and almost came away with the victory, but the Bruins rally, winning 32-31, fellas, over South Alabama. And I watched a little bit of that game earlier. There was nobody at the Rose Bowl today.
I mean, I couldn't believe. When I watched that, I was like, wow, look at all there's like nobody there.
Yeah.
There's like, I mean, they don't even that's like, how many do they have, like 20 million in LA?
I don't know. Ever since they made that announcement, the UCLA alum aren't happy about going to the Big Ten, and the UCLA faithful have made plenty of noise, and it just seems like it's almost backfired.
Yeah.
USC full speed ahead in changing conferences. Everybody in the land of Troy is excited. UCLA a little bit more tentative, I think, guys.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Other games today. Cal was leading against Notre Dame early, but the Irish will win at home 24-17 in South Bend today. Oregon taking on BYU. It's a final now, 41-20. The Oregon Ducks beat BYU.
That's a good win for us.
That's a good win for the conference as well. Minnesota, no problem. They maul Colorado at home today, 49-7. Coming up a little bit later, just before our ball game, will be Fresno State at USC. You'll also have a game coming up at 4:30, a couple afternoon contests. Michigan State in Washington will get going at 4:30. Michigan State, number 11 in the country, travels to Seattle to take on Washington. And then Montana State taking on Oregon State. Both of those teams are 2-0. That's a 5 o'clock game on Pac-12 Network. Also later tonight, San Diego State is at Utah, number 14 in the country. Eastern Michigan taking on Arizona State. That's a late game on Pac-12 Network. Of course, we'll get going as a late game as well. Arizona taking on North Dakota State University. That's the Pac-12 scoreboard for today.
That's today's Pac-12 scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
All right, let's take a look at the Right Way rundown. Here's what's coming up on 1290 as we get you closer and closer to that 8 o'clock kick, Arizona and North Dakota State.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, fellas, I want to hustle to get us back on time because I went a little long in the first segment. We got a couple special guests coming up before we kick it over to Learfield for their version of the pregame show. Who do we have coming up in the players-only meeting, guys?
We got Brian Denton, who is a former teammate of mine, played from 1982 to 86, offensive tackle, started offensive tackle. We've done quite a few blocks together, so I know him pretty well.
Stories, right?
Yeah, we'll have some good stories.
And block for Sweet D.
And with Sweet D, and we were blocking for Sweet D, and Sweet D always was telling us they want the ball. He wants the ball more. No more passing. He wants to run the ball.
There you go. All right, so that's coming up. Also, a little bit later in the Captain's Corner, we'll have
Derek Hall, former team captain, former Mr. Everything around here in Arizona. Done a little bit of everything here.
All right, so he'll be joining us in the next hour as well. So we have a whole lot to get to as we get you ready for the 8 o'clock kick. There's some guy walking around with the pot. What do you got in the pot? What's? Oh, he's got frijoles in there. Don't be afraid to come back over and hang out with us. He's got a case of beer. He's got the tailgate. I got to tell you, the tailgating smells pretty good today.
Yeah.
Stay
it
ready,
does.
So you gotta get ready.
Yeah, the tailgate smells pretty good today. All right, so all that's coming up on the Right Way Rundown as we continue from the mall of the campus of the University of Arizona. We're counting down to that 8 o'clock kick. Arizona taking on North Dakota State. You'll hear that game right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the board. ASU with the ball, down by 11, 3 have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down. That was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Coloco screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Coloco. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
We're
a
tied.
huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit.
Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
We continue with you from the University of Arizona. The ball. The Arizona Wildcats get ready to take on North Dakota State University. Time now for our players only meeting. Brian Denton's going to join the fellas and talk some Arizona football here on 1290.
Let's go inside the Wildcats Radio 1290 locker room for a players-only meeting. Here is our letterman, Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Efon.
Well, we're happy to have one of my former teammates, man, Brian Denton, who played from 1982 to 86, offensive tackle. We used to call him Big Dent. That's what we used to call him, Big Dent. Big boy. He was 6'7"? 6'6". I always thought he was 6'7", but he's 6'6". He was about 275, 280 back then.
Back then when I came here, they were laughing because I was 225. They thought they were recruiting basketball players for the offensive line.
Yeah, and 270 was a big offensive tackle, man.
Yeah, nah.
So,
I actually had to go on the fat man table because I got up close to 300, which they love now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we welcome you here, Brian. We're glad to have you on. What you been doing?
Right now, just recovering from having a stroke.
Okay. Feel better? You're looking good.
Yeah.
You're looking better. Doing well.
Before that, I was working with at-risk kids at a couple agencies.
Okay. Okay, right on. What are you thinking about Arizona football right now?
I'm just really watching the offensive line to see how they do. Because last year I was kind of disappointed at times.
Yeah.
I felt especially in the second half, they shot themselves in the foot in the red zone, getting a holding penalty. You cannot get any kind of penalties in the red zone. It just kills you.
Yeah, and we both know we played with Larry Smith. We knew that penalties would kill us. We knew that if we could not make mistakes on penalties, and that was a bad thing.
If you did get a penalty, you had to run 100 yards up down for each yard of penalty that you got.
Yeah, so we made sure that we were trying to be penalty free, and that was one thing that I bet you couldn't even do that today. If you had to do the punishment, you couldn't do that today. So
I only had, I think, 4 penalties in my whole career.
Yeah, yeah,
amazing. All right, a question I wanted to know: you're from Arizona.
Yeah.
How did you get recruited? Who was the guy recruited? Who noticed you to give you that opportunity?
Actually, it was someone watching me in basketball, and I guess playing up at Mesa High School. They passed the word on, and we had an assistant coach, a running back coach, Willie Pete, and he actually was from my town, went to high school, and he was the main guy that recruited me, Willie Pete.
Oh.
Yeah, Willie Pete was also a guy that helped recruit me too. Because when I came here, he was the only African American coach.
Is that Rodney Pete?
Yeah, Rodney Pete's dad.
Oh,
Yep,
wow,
that was Rodney.
that's crazy.
Well, his brother was on the team. Skip.
Yeah,
Skip
Skip
was
was on
a
the
wide
team.
receiver.
He was my running back coach at the Raiders.
Oh, really?
Skip was.
Yes,
yep,
he was.
Exactly. And Coach Pete, when I got there, my first time when I got here in '83, Coach Pete told me they were leaving to go to the NFL, and also Coach Rowan. Remember Coach Keith Rowan?
He was my first coach, Coach Rowan.
Yeah, he recruited me out of Chabot.
And he went to the pros.
Yeah, went to Indianapolis Colts.
He was the smartest offensive line coach I ever played for.
Yeah, and we had we got some stories. Me and Brian could tell you. we had Coach Barry as our
Barry
offensive line.
Barry was a different type of coach.
Yeah.
He would actually love it in the meetings if you argued with him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He was a great dude. And his son, who we used to throw around on the doggone
he was
freaking
a
little dude.
I can't even remember his name.
Joe.
Yeah.
And now he's the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow, that's great.
He is.
Ricky Hunley used to pick him up like he
throw
was
him off.
boxing with him.
We used to throw him and Corby all over the place on the pads. Remember, we used to throw him on the pads. They used to say, "Throw me on the pad." We used to pick him up and throw him on the pads. So it was really something to see those guys. Oh, the coaching tree that they had with Larry, man. Right. Keith Rowan, Willie Pete. Wow. You had Coach Bernardi, who went on to coach at UCLA for years, and then he's
at San Diego State.
Yeah, he's at San Diego State now.
Michelle Toffmeyer's son, Michael, Joe's son, is
doing
grad work.
Oh, really?
He's teaching at San Diego State.
Really?
So he went to talk to Gary Bernardi for some stories about Joe.
Really?
Yeah, because he's always interested in older players that played with Joe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because I talk to Coach Bernardi all the time because he was my tight end coach. And then you have Coach Wolfhausen. He coached at ASU for years. And then Terry Malone. Remember Terry Malone? He was a GA with us. He was the offensive coordinator for Michigan under Lloyd Carr when they went to.
Okay.
He was with Tom Brady. He was with Tom Brady.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's with Lloyd Carr. So we had some really good coaches touch us when we were there. And you can't even say how many coaches that Dick Tomey had. Dick Tomey had some of the best trees you can imagine.
And speaking of that makes me think about culture. What do you think of what was the culture? When you think of U of A football, what was the culture? I see it as tough players, a little chip on your shoulder, under recruited maybe. Want to show
people. A lot
people
of under recruited. We're basically USC, UCLA rejects.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and some ASU. I mean, because some of the guys wanted to go ASU was kind of doing.
Everyone thought I was going to ASU because it was right in my backyard, and I could not stand ASU.
Yeah.
I actually fell in love with UOA. I was up flipping. I lived in Mesa because they had the transmitters on the mountain. I can get the Tucson news channels, and they would have the Tony Mason show. And that's when I first found out about the U of A. I could not stand ASU.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, being that you are from Phoenix and that's right in your backyard, right by Mesa, Tempe, how was that rivalry to you? How was that game? How did you feel about that getting that victory? Was that important to you?
Yeah, after I came to U of A, when I found out, because before it was always ASU was dominating U of A, and we started the streak my freshman year in '82. Yep.
So you never lost?
Nope. 5-0.
Never lost. 5 years, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I never lost either.
That's amazing.
I never lost either. 3-0.
I don't know if I count '82. I was redshirting.
Nah, that count.
That's still a win.
You had to practice. You was scout team.
I mean, I was actually playing. I was second team, but I was redshirting.
Yeah.
So you had
basically
to do the work.
Everybody on the offensive line had to blow their knees out for me to get in the game.
Yeah. And you know what's weird about that back then is that you would be second team and you would be a red shirt. Usually red shirts are not even on the depth charts.
No, right.
They're not on the depth charts now. We were on the depth charts.
Yeah, I was a red shirt.
I was my '83. I was back behind Mike Freeman and Charlie Dickey at guard, and I was second team, and they were redshirting me.
Wow. Half the year I was scout team until we had a couple of guys. Jay Thomas blew out his ankle shooting a basket.
Yeah.
Then we had this other guy that flipped out in our meeting, so I moved up on the tackles. Stoney, yeah. So I became the number 4 tackle, so I got to travel. My first game to travel was Notre Dame, so I was there. When Max.
How was that game?
It was weird because. For the field goal, it was weird because it was like a 40-yard field goal. All of a sudden, before he kicked it, this wind started blowing, and it was like 6 seconds left on the clock. It took that whole 6 seconds for the ball to go through.
Really?
And people don't realize Max got roughed on the kick. I got my picture in the paper holding him up because Max could barely stand up.
Yeah.
I went to the dorm, and everyone's like, "Hey, you're on the paper." I'm like, "What?" I didn't even play.
I didn't play. You're a red shirt.
How many bowl games did you play in?
2.
Two. And
well, we got stuck with that probation. For stuff that we had nothing to do with.
Yeah, I after the
so what did y'all would have made bowl games if y'all wasn't on probation?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
83, 83. We went to a bowl game. We were ranked number 3 in the country. We started off the number 3 in the country.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were on
Is
sports.
that where y'all finished 10? What year did y'all finish 10?
We finished that year. We were 8-3, 8-3 and 1.
Yeah,
we're 8-3
85 was 8-3 and 1. Senior year was 9-3.
Yeah,
and 84 were 7-4.
Yeah,
All
and I found out that we were on probation a week after I signed. I was like,
so it wasn't no Twitter and
no, it wasn't.
Well,
it was like they called me up and
had to
said,
convince Charlie Dickey to come. He didn't have a bowl game. He was a JC transfer.
Yeah,
he wasn't going to ever, play in a bowl game.
Yep, we never were. I thought I wasn't either because I thought I was going to play my '83 year, but I redshirted. So in '85, we played in the Sun Bowl against Georgia. Which we should have won that game, too.
And forever, they tied us.
Yeah,
we did
exactly.
not tie them.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
tied us.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll ask you about Coach Dickey. You played with him. He was my offensive line coach when I played here. Very intense. I always make a joke. Guys, come here.
He was Iron Man. His freshman year, he did not, because you guys were redshirting, he played every snap at right guard.
Yeah. Yep.
800 and something plays.
Yep.
Wow, so tough guy. Even
he
way
was
back
Iron
then.
Man.
Yeah, he didn't miss one play on the offensive side of the ball.
Dickey, man.
I think there's no one that's ever done that.
Nope.
No offensive lineman to this day has done that.
Man, that's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because at 85, I moved to right guard because we were thin at guard, and
Yeah.
I was looking to break his record until we played San Jose State, and I almost blew out my knee and missed like a few games.
Yeah.
But I up till then, that season, I had not missed a snap till that San Jose State game.
Yeah, playing with Charlie was awesome. Charlie was the nicest guy off the field,
but he was
tough.
Crazy. He wasn't that big.
Yeah.
He was short for a guard, but he was tough. When he came on the field, he was mean and nasty.
Yeah, he was mean. He'd bite your knees, man. I mean, he would he'd do anything.
So what do you see missing from? I mean, you was part of outstanding offensive lineman play. I don't think it changes much. I think the size has changed a little bit. Not for you, but for most guys. What do you think the difference is, or what do you think need to be added to the offensive line play that we have now?
Just the guys need to get more. They need to understand it's not that running that horizontal pass. You got to be physical because it's a run game.
Right,
you got to establish the run. That sets up the pass, and it will set up play action.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of play action.
Yeah, we did. We did a ton of play action.
A lot of times the tight end coming over the middle.
Yep.
Picking up 10 yards.
Yep.
Move the chains.
Yep, move the chains. That's what we should do.
And a lot of that has to do with the play calling. The coach has to call the plays, to call the runs, to continue to set it up, regardless if they're getting, positive yards or not, because you have to continue to try to press that thing in there to give the offensive lineman a chance to get their fits on their blocks.
Yeah. What's your favorite, your fondest memories at University of Arizona, Brian?
Me and Joe hanging out all the time. Joe Toffenmeyer.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe was a great. I remember. I'll tell you a story about Joe Toffenmeyer. We're playing in the SMU game, and he was going against Jerry Ball.
He dominated.
He killed.
They're all American.
Yeah.
He was he was a nose tackle award, number 34.
Yep.
And everyone thought we were going to get killed that game. They were ranked 3rd in the country, and we dominated the whole game.
And we were in the huddle, and Joe came back to the huddle. He says, "I'm kicking his butt. I'm kicking Jerry Ball's butt." And everybody was like, and Val and everybody was like, "We're killing this dude." And we beat them 36-6, man. We killed them. They didn't have a chance.
The funny thing is people think it's all serious. People think it's always serious in the game. Like there's times, like one time we were up at Washington State playing, and they had this call, like Idaho defensive call, and all of a sudden Val's like, "Hey Joe, post fall." So we're all laughing, and on the line, we snapped the ball, and we still picked up 5 yards.
Yeah.
Another time we were playing a game, we had this long drive. It was like 22 plays. It went from halfway through the third into the fourth. And it got to one point, me and Joe were standing in the huddle. Joe's just like, if we don't score, we're putting.
Oh yeah, yeah. He said that they had those long drives, doing that. And that's the best thing for an offensive lineman. I mean, it's just really good for an offensive lineman.
Well, the worst is we had one play that went for a long game. We were like running down all right, and we looked back. There was a flag. We had to go run all the way back, huddle up.
Yeah. Those are not good times. So what's your fondest memory of Larry Smith?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I don't really have one, like one that stands out.
Yeah.
When we played LSU, their fans showed up at the hotel.
Yeah.
Talking smack, and Larry Smith went out there. He confronted them.
Went out and went crazy on him.
No, because they're all like, they remember when he was at Tulane. One of the guys, we wish you at Tulane so we can kick your butt every year.
Yeah.
And Larry did not back. He stood there with his arms, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, get the heck out of here. He was telling. I remember it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. They were out there saying tiger bait. They
tried to intimidate. Like, the week before they played San Jose State, and we were prepared for it. And San Jose State just wet themselves, lost 41. We're on the bus. They're running after the bus.
They stopped our bus. They
know
surrounded.
where the visiting team goes in. They all surround it, and they start chanting tiger bait.
Yeah, it was a great feeling. We came into that game. We thought we knew we were gonna win. We thought we were gonna win that game. We didn't have no question that we could beat those guys. They were number 6 in the country. They had Dalton Hilliard. They had Greg James. They had Linford Mahabley. They had Jerry Dale. They had they had Lance Smith. I was going against Michael Brooks, who was the number 1 pick of the Denver Broncos.
They acted like they blew us out. They only won 27-26. They didn't even shake our hands. They ran off the field.
Yep.
A couple of guys came and shake our hands after the game.
Yep. That was a tough game.
I never had air. I lost like 10 pounds after that game. It was 88 degrees, 88% humidity.
Yeah. Remember when we came out? We were just soaked, wet. Our whole
I remember
uniforms.
Reuben Berry, because the receivers came in, out and warm. He comes in. How is it? He's like, air so thick you can cut it.
Yeah, and he was just sweaty.
We thought it was going to rain because that Friday it was like this on and off drizzle, and this guy's like, it's never rained during the LSU game. Did not rain at all.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it did. Yeah, those were some good times there. That was a great game. That was the best game that I ever played. The funnest game I've ever played in was at LSU because it was packed. It was sold out. They were just crazy fans.
They were just chanting the whole unit stadium was LSU Tiger Bait.
Yeah.
Was it anything close to that? Playing in any Pac-10 game? Any stadiums that you went to? Any team that you went against?
No, there wasn't. When we played in USC. That was a big game. When we played there, we should have won that game too. That was 13. We got robbed with Gary Parrish.
Gary Parrish
catch the ball.
Well, what it was, he caught it in his hands,
brought it down,
and he brought it down. They ruled it an intercepted fumble in the end zone.
Yeah, he got hit
Larry
from
Smith
the back.
was arguing, if it's an intercepted fumble, that means he had
caught
possession.
The ball. Yeah,
so it should have been a touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so and then even on the next day on the LA Times says robbed in the
grand
Coliseum.
larceny.
Yeah, in the Coliseum. So
the Coliseum is the worst place I ever played in. We were stretching because John Barthol and Stu Boldway stretched. Actually, we were like in the middle of the field. That's when UCLA and the Rams the grass was so worn out. To make it look good on television, they had green dyed sand. We're like, what is this?
Yeah.
I wear contacts. That was a pain.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah, that was a good game. They had a good team there too. We should. It was 16-13. We lost that game.
Close game.
Yeah, that was a really close game, and
I just remember because our offensive line coach was Palsick.
Yeah.
And I was going against Jack Del Rio.
Yeah.
And he did not do anything. I thought he was like this big guy. He's like this little. After the game, Palsik's like, you probably knocked a couple $100,000 off his contract when he gets drafted.
Yep, because I was going against Jack because he was the outside linebacker, him and Dwayne Bickett. Because it was him and Dwayne Bickett were the outside linebackers, and they were both, top picks in the NFL.
I remember he was in high school. I expecting all he did is
play with him in high school.
He just kept trying to pound. And I just kept my hands in front of him.
Yeah. I played with him in high school. We were on the same team in high school, so we played together for 2 years in high school. I went to transfer to Hayward High School.
Because I remember Val. That's when they moved him up. He had to learn our whole offense in a bye week to start at right guard.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had Georgia Chica at nose guard. Yep. They had some good players on that team.
Who was the best player you ever went up against?
Best.
Probably have to say Ron Holmes. Washington.
Who was the guy at Washington?
Ron Holmes.
Yeah.
He said
Ron Holmes.
I had one of my worst. Well, it was one of the worst. Between both teams, we had like 19 turnovers.
Yeah, it was the most fumbles at that time. Was the most fumbles in a Division I football game.
Well, they had 4 fumbles, 4 interceptions. We had 5 fumbles and 6 interceptions.
Yeah,
Was it raining?
It was raining.
I know that's Seattle where it rains.
It was raining. We were up 6-0 at halftime. We go in at halftime. Larry breaks the chalkboard.
Well,
it was glass. It was glass.
He thought it was glass.
Yeah.
He hit it with a chair and just shattered.
Shattered the whole thing. And we were freaking out. And then he was telling us to come out. You guys got to play tougher. And he sat at the doorway and said, "You got to come with me." And he was hitting dudes. He was
back in the day.
Yeah,
Couldn't do that these days.
Can you imagine that happening today?
No.
I mean, Larry did that. Remember when we played Oregon when he did that, when he hit Schiller, and Schiller went, whoa!
I don't remember that well.
I mean, we were playing Oregon. We're coming out of our visiting locker room. We used to be right across the thing that that's where our home locker room used to be.
Yeah.
And Larry Smith says, "You guys aren't playing tough enough." And he got the thing, and he was bleeding. People were trying to hit him and everything. And we came out there and we beat Oregon.
Man.
We beat Oregon. We finally beat Oregon because we never could beat Oregon.
Every time I hear about Larry Smith, it sounds like some Coach Tommy. The same type of guy, man.
He's very intense.
Yeah, Larry was intense as heck. Larry would who's gonna make a play?
Yeah.
What you doing? What do you know?
I seen him yell at assistant coaches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You don't get that fixed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fire.
And then Coach Barry used to tell us, "You're taking food off my table." Yeah. I'd say
no,
what are you talking about?
No,
but Barry used to say that too.
Yeah, Palsick was like, my little girl gets a bowl of cereal. You're taking that bowl of cereal and just smacking it on the floor.
They used to always tell, not me, but they used to say when guys weren't performing, they say, "You're stealing money."
Yeah,
you're stealing money.
Exactly.
Money.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, man.
Well, Brian, man, we thank you for coming on the show on the Players Only, and I'm sure you're going to be watching the game tonight. And what do you think about what's going to happen tonight in the game?
I'm just really interested to see how these run games for both teams go. If we get our run game going, which sets up our pass, I have a feeling it shouldn't be a problem. I don't care how good North Dakota State is. If we get our run game going like we did in San Diego State, which opens our pass game.
Yep. I think I agree. I'm 100% agreement with you. Well, Brian, thanks a lot for coming on. We appreciate it, and bear down.
Bear down.
We're all back. We are done with the Players Only segment here with Kelvin Ephod and Glenn Howe and Brian Denton. We'd like to thank you very much for coming out for our Players Only meeting, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube
At Wildcats 1290.
and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the board. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down that was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's a huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin.
More than a window store. Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody, as we count you down to kickoff today. Man, look, all the stars are out. Look, there's Paul Sakala from KVOA right there.
Yeah, they're all coming out.
All the stars. He's not paying attention. Should I yell louder? Hey, look, there's Paul Sakala from KVOA. I just want to make sure all the stars, everybody knows all the stars are out today as Arizona gets ready to take on the North Dakota State Bison. Those are fun stories.
Yeah, it was
stories,
fun.
Right?
It was fun.
Were you on the team that for Coach Smith against Arizona State where you wore the practice uniforms?
No, that was the 82 team.
That was the 82 team?
That was the 82 team.
Oh, we should ask Brian about that.
Yeah,
he was there.
yeah, he was there. That was the 82.
You know the story,
actually, that was the 81 team.
You know the story, right?
81, yeah.
Tell me the story real quick.
The story is that they got the wrong jerseys.
Arizona State did.
Arizona State got the wrong jerseys, and we had to wear our practice jerseys.
Well, okay, so Larry told me the story because Larry was part of our 1290 family. So Arizona State comes down, and I don't know whether they were playing games or not, but they rolled in wearing the wrong uniforms. So Coach, they walk out and they have on, I think, I can't remember the story exactly, but they were wearing the wrong uniforms. So Coach said, look, these guys are disrespecting you. They're showing up with the wrong uniforms. They don't even care. That's how little they care about you. And he goes, guys, we don't even have the right jerseys to wear for these. We're going to have to wear our old smelly practice jerseys.
Oh, man.
So he goes and he gets, who was equipment?
Hawk.
Hawk goes and gets he goes in there and Hawk, he goes, no. He goes, well, we have clean game jerseys. No, go get the practice jerseys. Make them wear the practice jerseys. This will motivate them. So they go and put the practice jerseys on, and they whoop Arizona State. But Larry used anything he could for motivation.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
We're going to have to find somebody who's there for that
story. I wasn't. That was the year before I got there. A couple years before I got there.
How'd you like that, just to go out there, Territorial Cup, and you're wearing your old, smelly, dirty – they hadn't even been laundered yet from the last practice.
Yeah, I would have thought Coach Tomlin was crazy.
Yeah,
Because I was always one of the type of player, you look good, you play good.
Right.
I even wanted to smell good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real. You know? So, that would have disturbed me a little bit. But at the end of the day, I would have did whatever I had to do to take care of business.
Get that done.
Anything to be there as you.
You know what the worst thing is? That we never had mirrors in our locker room. We didn't have mirrors.
Wow.
If I had mirrors, I don't know if I'd get out there on time.
Hey, I used to stand in front of that thing, because really I used to love to look at myself.
Yeah.
I used to love to look myself in the eyes and say.
Well, if I was good looking as you, I'd want to look at myself too.
Yeah, but I'm looking in my eyes because I want to know if you really about this. Like,
no,
really
I don't like looking in your eyes.
See, the only way I used to look in the mirror is that we used to get dressed. I used to get dressed and sneak down to the weight room and get in front of the mirror in front of the weight room, and I'd look there and have my towel. I had my towel that came down. I used to wear back then. I used to wear because they didn't have gloves.
Did it with the tacky?
So no, they didn't have
sticky gloves.
No,
right?
no,
they didn't have those.
They didn't have those. So I wore U of A baseball. Batter's gloves, batting gloves. I wore blue ones. My boy Chuck Johnson used to get them to me. He would get them to me. He played on the national championship game. He goes, bruh. He is from Oakland, and he was like, bruh, I get you. I tighten you up. I get you your. I used to wear blue. There were were they Easton? Easton.
Yeah.
Would you wear sweatbands?
What's that? I used to wear a sweatband here, tie my thing, and then I used to have my towel that used to come down.
Eye black?
To wear. No eye black. No eye black.
What would you have?
Oh, man, I would have my gloves. I always have a longer T-shirt than my jersey because I used to like my T-shirt to coordinate with my shoes.
Yeah.
So, it was
is this a football pregame show or is this
this is
fashionista? Is this the red carpet fashionista show?
That's right.
But if you think about it, look at now where the apparel has went with sports. I mean, it's a big business. But we were already a lot of things that they turned into the spatting.
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
Stuff that they turned
were you allowed to spat?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Coach Tommy was one of those type of guys. As long as you were taking care of business, you were good. But as soon as you wasn't, take that tape off. So if everything's going great, everything works good. But as soon as things start going the other way, he started taking things away.
And if you spatted, I remember when we first started spatting.
No, you got to explain to people what spatting is.
Spatting is putting tape over your shoes.
So you tape your ankle over your shoe.
And then we got in trouble because the Nike symbol wasn't being shown.
Right.
So they had someone there that drew the Nike symbol in.
Because Larry would get mad.
Yeah.
Because he'd get yelled at by Nike
Yep.
when you guys spatted. So for a while he made a rule, Coach Smith did, no spatting.
See, that's what
look at that.
Yeah, so
he's showing a picture of those. Look at us.
Yeah. So that's when we had the neck roll over the top, and then we had the big jerseys, man. We had the big jersey, and then wear just the elbow pads, and then we had to have these big donges. Remember donges? Little big pads right here.
Oh, the thigh pads.
The thigh pads. Mine were like the plastic one. They're plastic. They had like the clear plastic on the top, but they were huge. They were like this big, because that one's like.
Kelvin, would you wear the thigh pads?
Yeah, I just had a big thigh pads because I felt like the helmet. One time I got hit with a helmet in my thigh.
Would you wear your knee pads?
Yes. Yeah. I'm running back. I needed all the extra protection I could get.
Yeah. And then I used to not wear.
I used to elbow pad because I used to like to really use my elbow.
They used to get on me for not wearing hip pads. I used to not wear hip pads.
Why not?
Because it made me look too big. I wanted to be a little skinny, lean guy. See that?
Again,
look at that.
Again, fashionista, right?
Look at that. That ain't no hip pads on that thing, bro.
I needed my hip pads.
I had like a 35 waist, man.
Oh, man. All right. We're getting ready for football. Arizona will be taking on North Dakota State coming up at 8 o'clock. Hey, let's take a look at the defensive scouting report today for the game as Arizona gets ready to take on the Bison.
Let's look at Arizona's defensive scouting report for today's football game.
And it's intercepted, picked off. Wildcats back with the ball the other way. They take over at the Colorado 42.
The defensive scouting report is brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
All right, fellas, let's take a look at the scouting report for North Dakota State University. It's pretty simple. They're going to run the ball, and when they get done running the ball, they're going to run it again, and when they get done with that, they're going to run it again. Here's Jed on North Dakota State University's ball control running attack. This is cut 71.
Because of how much time that they keep the ball makes it a little bit more, each possession has a little bit more value. If normally you have a chance to get 12 or 13 possessions and maybe you only get 11, maybe, I don't know exactly the numbers, but, I think it all depends, right, on how many 3-and-outs can we get, how many times can we force them to punt. Offensively, we don't and can't turn the ball over. It's really important in a situation like in a game like this that you
10 seconds
all when you have it. And then if we have to give it to them, it has to be through a kick, whether that be a kickoff or a punt. But it has to be through a kick, not through us giving them the ball.
Turnovers are going to be so important because when North Dakota State gets the ball, they are going to run the ball, and they're going to try to eat up clock, fellas.
Yeah, they run the ball with a fullback. It's just old school. A lot of times you don't see fullbacks and tight ends and H-backs, but you're going to see a heavy dose of that. These guys are going to come in and try to bully you. They're going to try to take the 2 yards, 8 yards, then bust a 50-yard on it and just try to take away the clock from you. So guys have to get stops. We have to get off the field, and the linebackers and the DBs have to tackle.
Yeah, and Parashand, Kyon Bars, and Jalen Harris and Hunter, those guys cannot get blown off the ball. They have to be able to maintain their position on the line of scrimmage because they're going to be double teaming all the way across and then moving up to the next level. That's what they're going to try to do, and we have to be able to hold our ground. We can't be getting double teamed and just root it out. They're road graders. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to try to just eliminate you.
Absolutely. You hear the police sirens behind us. Arizona Wildcats are ready to make their way for the Wildcat Walk. The buses are getting ready to pull in here. So we'll hear all of that behind us as we're coming to you live from the mall here at the University of Arizona. Interesting, Johnny Nance, the defensive coordinator, talked about this. The Arizona Wildcats, you know what? I think that's North Dakota State that's making their way in. All right, so here come the Bisons as their buses are rolling in.
I don't like that, Rich.
What's that?
I don't like them beating us to our stadium.
No, I don't like that either. Well, and they've got fans today, so they're the fans are ready. They're tailgating and enjoying themselves in the Arizona desert. But anyway, let me go back to this. Johnny Nansen talked about this, that it's interesting. First game out, San Diego State, they faced a team that wanted to run the ball down your throat. Then you take on a team that goes to the spread. Now you're back to another power-running team. Here's Johnny Nansen.
For the coaches, too, but no, it's just, we just try to keep it simple for our guys. Seconds. But it is for the kids, it's a totally new deal that they had to face, and obviously we got to do a good job of showing them and preparing them.
This comes down to a battle. and it's going to be a battle up front. Let me follow up with Danson. This is Cut 57 talking about North Dakota State University's offensive line.
They got a bunch of veteran guys up front, and they run the same system over and over, and that's what they believe in, and they're disciplined, they're well coached. You can tell by the footwork and the hand play.
10 seconds.
Coach. So, we got to do a great job of being disciplined ourselves this week, make sure we maintain our gaps, because they're coming in here to run the ball.
And I think
Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing is not getting knocked off the ball. Our guys have to put up a fight on that line of scrimmage. That way they keep their linebackers clean, where their linebackers can scrape and make plays. It's just going to be the Bars and the Shans of the world, the Eccles and the Harris. These guys are going to have to be physically tough for the whole game because, again, their coaches set them up. North Dakota State coaches set them up for success. Over and over, our guys are going to have to be like that boxer, and you're just going to have to withstand it and keep fighting back for the whole 12 rounds.
And you hear what Johnny said. He goes, they're very disciplined with their footwork and their hand placement. Listen to what he's saying there. That's what our key to our offensive linemen is, their hand placement, getting their footwork and hand placement together. These guys on North Dakota State, that's what they do. They've been doing it. It's a steady diet for them. That's all they do. They're technique-wise. That's how they beat teams that are supposed to be better than them. Yeah. They beat them on technique. They do it all, and they're not turning their shoulders. They're not letting guys get through on a double team. That's where we have to be very disciplined in breaking those double teams.
And what you have with this school here at North Dakota State, you have guys that have been there 4 and 5 years. These guys go to North Dakota State to get coached up, to get trained, to be a part of the system. So where we're breaking in 53 new players, they basically have their whole team back and don't have to worry about, the changing in their continuity.
And again, if you go to North Dakota State University, you have an opportunity to go on to the next level. They have guys that they put on that play on Sunday, that play on these offensive lines, that play skill positions over here. So it's not like you're taking guys that are coming on going, oh, look at us because we're playing at FBS school. Yeah. These guys, in fact, the coach talked about in his press conference how many pros they have right now from North Dakota State University, and there is a ton of them. I think there's a dozen players from North Dakota State University that are playing on Sunday, guys.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot. When I watched him, it reminds me a lot of what Coach Tomey was doing.
Yeah,
he identifying players,
diamonds in the rough.
Diamonds in the rough, identifying people that other people might not have ranked high, but you get them in there and you add a little weight on them, or you coach them up a little bit. Maybe they come from schools where they didn't have great records or winning playoff games, but you identify those guys and you get them in your system, and they become successful and go on to the pros. And I think about Antonio Harris. I think about I can just go on Chester Burnett. I can just go on and on about those different type of guys.
Yeah, there's plenty of those guys that Coach Tomey got and developed into to great players. I mean, that's what we have to do. That, like I said, the canary in the coal mine for us, Arizona, is that we get these 4 and 5 stars. If we don't develop them into draft choices in 4 or 5 years, we ain't gonna get those guys anymore.
Let me ask you guys something, and Brian brought this up, and I wanted to bring this up in the defensive spotlight today. We know what North Dakota State's going to do. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. But they will throw on occasion. And I think, Glenn, you and I talked about it this week, that I'm wondering how, Arizona, you're going to have to put an extra guy in the box. You're going to have to cheat up. But that just plays into those 2 or 3 shots that North Dakota State likes to take down the field.
Yeah, and they got some receivers, too. They got number zero. He's 6'6". He can play, and he'll go deep on you. You're looking at Zach Matthias, man. He caught one the other day playing in that last game that they played in, is that he caught a deep ball that he just beat everybody deep. And we got to be ready for that. And I think that our safeties have got to be able – we have not been getting hit in the middle of the field, which I cross our fingers here. We have not been hit in the middle of the field yet. So nobody's been hitting us in the middle of the field, where we used to get that constantly in the years past.
Right.
So we have to be prepared for that and be able to make sure that we can get that position taken care of.
All right, we're getting closer and closer to Arizona taking on North Dakota State University. We're going to be on with you till 6:30. Then we'll send it over to Learfield, and then of course we'll be along afterwards for a full recap and highlights immediately following the ball game. But guys, let's be honest. This is going to be a tough ball game. It was interesting in the newspaper. Michael Lev chronicled how this ball game came to be. Nobody wants to play North Dakota State. They've got a reputation for taking down FBS schools. Now, they haven't done it in 6 years. They are 9 all-time against FBS schools, but this is one that Rich Rod had wanted to take on, an FCS school. There was, and you can read Lev how they put it together, but there was an auction for it. North Dakota State came in there and said, yeah, we'll take the game. Game gets on the schedule, and it's been on ever since. And people for the last 5 years like, why would the Cats want to take on North Dakota State University? Because nobody else has wanted to schedule them out of an FBS school. They were supposed to play Oregon a couple years ago. That got washed away. So on their schedule, they have that makeup game against Oregon, and I think they have Colorado coming up in 3 or 4 years. But for them, guys, this is their Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we better be ready for it. I think, like I said, I've been saying all week, on paper, we should have size-wise on our offense side, we should be able to run the ball. They have not been very good on the run, so we should be able to run the ball. It's just that we just got to be able to take care of the ball and make sure and impose our will on them.
Yeah, and you said it's 6 years since they played a Division I opponent?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a reason, because people understand when that team come in, more than likely they're going to take an L. Mm-hmm. So, now this is I think it's a big opportunity for Arizona because, you're playing a disciplined team that's probably better than half the teams in the pack right now.
Yeah.
And so if you can go in and compete, that will go a long way to helping you be able to secure some wins later on in the pack.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
And they don't do a line because it's FCS against FBS?
They put one up, and I'll double-check it a couple different times. It started out as 1, then jumped to 3, and I'm still waiting for the official line to come out. But it's North Dakota State favored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You sound disappointed.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not.
Shock the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go out there and beat them. On game day today, everybody took North Dakota State except for Coach Corso.
Really?
Yeah. That's why he's my favorite.
Wow.
Pat McAfee, go jump in the lake. I'm going with Coach Corso.
Yeah,
he picked
Pat
the Arizona
McAfee.
Wildcats. There you go. He was a
kicker,
right? There you go. All right, coming up on the program, we'll take a look at the Pest of the game. We'll have a rundown, and then Derek Hall, former team captain, joins us in the Captain's Corner as we get you ready for football. It's Arizona taking on North Dakota State University from Arizona Stadium, coming up at 8 o'clock here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the 3, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, Goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins. Throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three. Blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it. It's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way. Out to Tabellas. Down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Rare. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments for the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
We're tied.
A huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then.
Jaguar Land Rover, Frog and Firkin, RV City, Classy Closets, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Dave & Buster's Tucson, University Pest Control, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Recon Auto Detail,
And by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
We continue with you from the University of Arizona as we're getting you ready for Arizona taking on North Dakota State University. My name is Rich Herrera, along with the captain, Kelvin Ifon, Glenn Howe. We're counting down to this ball game. Guys, we're about an hour left on our pregame show before we send it over to our friends over at Learfield. But how are you feeling right now as we're getting closer and closer to game time?
Oh, I can feel the energies, spiking up a little bit. A lot of people are coming in. We've got nice little tailgates going, so I'm excited about what we're gonna have tonight, and I'm enthusiastic about seeing us play, because I think if we do what we're supposed to do, we can win this ball game.
Yeah, totally ready and excited to see this game, because you're playing against a team that, FCS team that could beat you. So a team that's coming into your home that has that type of energy and that type of attitude, it makes for a good game. So I'm excited to see how the guys could, go up against these guys and see if they can get this victory.
How they react to this, because again, I will tell you this. I've been on lots of radio stations in North Dakota, talked to their fans, talked to some of their broadcasters, watched all of their press conference and everything. This team's got more swagger than I would have anticipated. I mean, this is a team, listen, they are national champions. They are national champions, and I'll say it one more time. They are national champions, but boy, do they walk around with some swagger. I mean, it's University of Miami swagger.
Peacock University. They're like peacocks, man. They're proud, and they're flaunting it, and it's all right. And they rightfully so can. They can do that because they are national champions. So we got to respect that, and then we got to go in there and fight like cats, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, hey, let's take a look at the Pest of the game. It's brought to you by University Pest Control.
Who is the pest the Wildcats need to be free from to win today's game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. BePestFree.com.
All right, guys, who's going to be the pest of the game that Arizona needs to look at tonight to say, hey, listen, we cannot let this guy beat us? because they have a lot of them over there. Give me a couple of names that the Arizona Wildcats need to key on.
My guy is number 90. I was watching him in that last game. I said, this kid's going to be a problem. Okay, it's Tony Pierce. He's 6'1", 242, defensive end. Not that big, but our tackles, been having some issues with some guys on the outside edge rush. All you're going to have to do is just 45 kick on him, man. Make sure he doesn't go inside on you, and should be able to overpower him. But I think he's going to be a problem.
My guy is number 91, Big Will Mostart, big 6'2", 260, inside tackle. Plays both real aggressive on the run, gets into the passing game. I mean, real stout right there, a very aggressive player. This is a guy that our guards and our center.
School pro-style offense with a big tight end that is there to block. Then he also has a fullback that is there to blast a linebacker out of that gap, and they're just going to power football at you.
Yeah, yep. Old school, bringing it right to you. I mean, and a lot of times guys are not prepared for that. You're so used to playing against passing offenses when they bring in a running game like that. That adjustment, it takes a little time to get used to the physicality that's being played with.
And they're just going to double team down, double team all the way up to the linebacker, and then they're just going to run to the gaps. And we got to be able
to go a little bit further down the rabbit hole and kind of give folks an idea of what they're going to be looking at.
So what they're going to do, if they have a 3 technique, they're going to tackle and the guard are going to maybe double down, butt to butt, shoulder to shoulder, butt to butt, knock him out, and then go up to the linebacker. Left the defensive end, come out, the fullback's going to get him, and then we're going to go right behind the double team and run up the gut.
How much do you love watching that?
Oh, man, I love watching that. I mean, I used to love running behind that, running off the down blocks, off the double teams, because whenever you have a double team, there's movement there. And so as a running back, that's guaranteed yards. So you want to run off the butts of the double team. So that way, where you have room when the block that's going up to the linebacker, you have room to get through the gaps.
And what our guys got to do, they cannot get moved off the ball. Our 3 technique.
They got to create a power.
They got to be able to create.
Okay, we got to make it a little bit easier. When you say 3 technique, who are you talking about?
3 technique. A 3 technique is going to be over the guard.
Which player?
Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle.
Okay.
That's going to be bars.
Right.
Okay. Or we might go or Shan, or we might have a 4-man front. If we have a 4-man, then both the guards will be covered, and then the tackles will be covered, and the center will be open.
Right.
So that we might go with a 4-man front.
So what is pulled down on him?
He can't get moved back into
the
linebacker.
He's just got
to stand his ground. He's got to stand his ground.
Cause a pile.
Create a pile. Can't get moved because then the linebackers can't move. Linebackers got to be able to come and fill those holes.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, please.
And they have a little back that could get lost behind there, a little 5'8", 180 speedster. He can get through little cracks. If he gets through there, he's a problem.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So those are the pests of the game, the weekend that Arizona has to take care of. Can't let us beat them today as they get ready to take on North Dakota State. Pest of the game brought to you by University Pest Control.
That's our Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. BePestFree.com.
All right, guys, we're getting closer and closer. Again, North Dakota State comes in. For them, this is a big deal. They're back on national television. In fact, as they look through their notes, this is the 3rd time they've been on FS1 in their school's history. That's a big deal for them. And again, they've been waiting for somebody, anybody. Please let us play a big school, and they'll get their opportunity today against the Arizona Wildcats. So again, we're getting closer and closer. We'll send it over to the stadium about 6:30, counting down to Arizona and North Dakota State. But right now, let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown, tell you what's coming up this hour of our pregame show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, one of my favorite parts of the pregame show is the new Captain's Corner, where the captain, Kelvin Efon, gets to talk a little football. Who's coming up?
Oh, man, we got Derek Hall coming in today. Derek Hall.
All right, so he's coming to join us here any moment on our set. We're live on the campus of the University of Arizona over in the mall just near Campbell. We have lots of folks walking by, lots of great tailgates going on. We got a chance to meet a lot of the veterans that are attending the University of Arizona on their GI Bill. That was kind of cool having them come by. So there's a lot of energy, a lot of folks here, and I hope that you're on your way over here or you're already over here getting ready for the ball game as Arizona will take on North Dakota State. All right, coming up next, the Captain's Corner. Derek Hall joins us, and then a little bit later we'll get to our Royal Automotive keys to the game, all coming up here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube
at Wildcats 1290.
And our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Mathurin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it. Drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak. Driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home. And the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Mathurin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down, and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff into the backfield and drop. Nope.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Mathurin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's hot! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Mathurin with the ball for the Wildcats. Mathurin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko, feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline, circles back out top to Mathurin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Mathurin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's a huge shot for Ben Mathurin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Mathurin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points. and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of... All right, we continue with you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We're getting you ready for Arizona taking on North Dakota State University. We'll have the Captain's Corner coming up here in just a little bit. In fact, let's do this. Hey, JW, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit if you don't mind, and we'll get to our spread of the game coming up here a little bit earlier on the program, and then we'll get Derek coming over here for the Captain's Corner.
Yeah, no problem.
In just a couple minutes. So, guys, if you don't mind, let's get to the spread of the game. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino.
Tucson, what are today's best bets?
Will the Cats beat the spread?
It's time to look at some of the best bets in football this weekend. Today's best bets are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, guys. It's an FCS school versus an FBS school, so they don't put the spread up right away. A couple different places had it start at Arizona's a 3-point dog, 1-point dog. So let's keep it at a 1-point dog today. North Dakota State, 1-point favorite over the University of Arizona. Who do you got?
I got the Cats. Should
I
give a score?
Yeah, go for it.
I give it a score. I give a score 34-28.
34-28. Cats win today.
Yeah, I had 31-28. I'm taking the Wildcats, man. I just have to believe that they're going to play better than that. I have to believe that tape last week was not just a loss. It was some learning lessons that they could take and help them, secure this dub today.
All right, so you both have Arizona, 1-point dog, getting the point winning.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. This is such a tough ball game.
Yeah.
And I guess it comes down to who's going to impose their will upon whom. If you're the Arizona Wildcats, you can't let North Dakota State impose their will upon you, upon the other team. If you're North Dakota State, you're going to come in here and try to punch the Cats in the face.
Yeah.
And they're going to throw a haymaker, Kelvin.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to throw a haymaker, Kelvin. So this is such a tough ball game. So cocky, so confident is North Dakota State. Which Wildcat's going to throw that knockout punch that's going to have us going, wait a minute, we're not in the FCS anymore? That's I think, my key to the game before I can figure out who's going to win. If there's an Arizona Wildcat that's going to blow somebody up, it's going to stop somebody, it's going to make them think twice, because right now they are so confident as they roll in here. I got to figure a way that you're going to be able to stop that confidence, because once you take their spirit, then they're going to realize it's FBS versus FCS. If you don't do that, then it's going to be a long day for the Cats.
Yeah, I agree. If we can't drives, when they go on long drives, that's going to be a telling sign for us. We want to make sure that we could get them some 3 and outs. If we can get those, if we start getting those,
And I think what you're saying is there's going to be an accumulation of hits. I think the one big knockout blow, I don't think necessarily that's going to happen, but I think you're going to have to continuously put the wood. This is a team that is used to winning. One big hit is not going to do anything to them. They're going to get it back together. They're going to keep coming at you. You're going to have to keep battling and fighting these guys this whole game to make them believe that you can beat them, because they believe that they're winners. They know that they're champions.
All right, so I'm going to go with you guys. I think the Cats are going to win today. I think it's going to be 28-17. 28-17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go. I think once Arizona, and I got to believe in Parashan, I got to believe in Bars, I got to believe in Jalen Harris. If they can help slow down this run, it's in check. Now, North Dakota State, from what you've seen on film, fundamentally more sound than San Diego State, but if it's Wildcats, and that's today's spread of the game.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, coming up, we'll have the Captain's Corner. Kelvin Efon will welcome Derek Hall into the Captain's Corner. That's coming up next year at 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
As electric companies raise their rates, a lot of us are concerned about energy efficiency. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling. Our energy efficiency team...
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center, and we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports, so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to go and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right. Drives to the bucket. Put up, blocked by Koloko. Grabbed by Larson. Arizona Bernard goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Champion. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the lead, slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back stream. Until then, how about some great moments for the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down. That was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 37. Cats. Matherin around a Koloko screen. Picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
We're tied.
A huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning in to our... Here comes the first police officer on a motorcycle coming right behind us in our broadcast position. So we'll get ready for the captain's corner here in just a second. But let me pause for just a moment as the Cats come rolling through. Here come the University of Arizona, buses. There's Jed Fish in the front row pointing, and the fans are waving at the team as they come through. Here, all the players coming through in their business suit and their white coat, and the white coach that's bringing them out to the front so they can have the Wildcat walk out here in front. So here are the police officers rolling through, taking on North Dakota State University. But right now, hey, it's time for the Captain's Corner. Hey, we have a very, very special guest coming on. We will have Derek Hall, D. Hall, joining us to sit down with the captain, Kelvin Efon. Let's go to it.
D. Hall.
Gather up, Wildcats fans. It's time to hear from our captain. It's time for our pregame speech. Here is the captain, Kelvin Efon.
Yes. Got my guy D. Hall in here today. How you doing today, Derek?
I'm good, KE. What's going on?
Oh, man, not much, man. You know, we just love to got the captain's corner here, man. Love to bring former captains in like yourself.
Yes, sir.
Just former University of Arizona players to come in and talk Wildcat football. First thing first, man, you tell me, how did you get here? Well, who recruited you here? I know you was a walk-on, but I know you was recruited walk-on. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, first of all, let me say, thank you to Rich and my boy Glenn and you, my brother, all you guys for having me on. It's really an honor, and I'm fired up to have this conversation with you guys. You already know KE. Glenn, he already knows. But, my story is, kind of the history of kind of Coach Tomey guys around here. My cousin James Francis played here for Desert Swarm before I got here, and when I was a sophomore in high school, they came out to the University of Illinois and played. And we went to the game when I was a sophomore, and then I was fortunate enough to go into the locker room with James after the game and just meet all kinds of people. And I remember I met Coach Aquina and Coach Ellerson, and I got to meet Coach Tomey. And so that whole atmosphere and everything and that vibe, I was just kind of feeling it a little bit.
Right.
And I kind of knew, probably that I wasn't going to be good enough to be a scholarship player,
Right.
which was exactly the case. But I thought that I could contribute or be something to what kind of the Arizona Wildcat history and family is all about, especially when it comes to walk-ons. So that's really what motivated me to come out here. And I visited a couple schools and looked at some other places, but I swear to you, when I got off the plane here, it just clicked.
Yeah.
It just clicked.
Yeah, man.
And for me, when I saw the palm trees, because I'm from the south side of Chicago, so
Right.
we're talking 4 months out of the year, it might look like this.
Yeah.
And then the other 8,
Yeah.
it's snowing, it's freezing,
Yeah.
it's cold, you're playing in cold and snowy games.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when I came to me, this is crazy.
Man.
So it just kind of clicked for me. Obviously, my cousin was here, and an important part of my life. So that, those two things together, and then really what Coach Tomey brought to the table, and it was really truly his son, Rich, that gave me an opportunity to walk on.
Wow.
That kind of put me through, and truth be told, Greg Harlan, who's now the AD at Utah.
Really? Right.
It was Greg and Rich that kind of helped me through the process.
How did
and
that happen?
I think really, truth be told, I think James did some behind-the-scene wheeling and dealing for me
That's
and
awesome.
got me in front of the right guys.
Yeah.
Because, he was a hell of a player here himself, and far better than I was. But I think what he brought to the table and the Desert Swarm squad and that era really helped me to get me a shot to get in front of. And you guys know how it works. It's left to handle that stuff and that practice and that workout. And when that happened, really it was Coach Tomey's son, Rich, right?
Yeah.
And then Greg Harlan. Thanks, but both those guys were GAs back in the day when we came on. So
Mark said he's at Utah. He's
Yeah.
the head of Utah.
Head of Utah.
That's a huge program.
Huge thing.
Yeah, 98 team. What do you think was special about that team? What do you think that helped make us the 12-1 Holiday Bowl champions?
Grit. And Kay, you know this, each other, whatever it might be, but we of one. And I know a lot of people talk about it, and people want to talk about